Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So today we will be learning the chapter 7, Jnana Vijnana Yoga. In English, it is knowledge of the absolute. Next slide, please. But before that, just a minute. Before that, I would like to ask some questions regarding the 6th chapter. Yes. Yes, so what did Arjuna say about Ashtanga Yoga? Ved Vihan? No, just a minute. I think so. Whoever knows the answers can now raise their hands. Hans Prabhuji, you can ask. You can answer.
Yes, Hans. Unmute yourself, Hans.
Okay, Swaraj Patil Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Arjuna said that about Ashtanga Yoga that it is more difficult to just sit for Ashtanga Yoga. It is more difficult to just it is difficult than controlling the wind. Hello?
Okay, to control the mind is more difficult to control the wind. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Okay. Correct. Then what is the prescribed dharma for in the Kali Yuga? Avnish?
To chant the holy name of Lord.
Okay, very good, correct. Now, okay. So now let's start our chapter. Next slide, please, Mataji. Someone can read the translation.
Tanish?
Now hear, O son of Pritha, Arjuna, how by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full free from doubt. Sri Krishna Mataji.
So today, Lord Krishna is explaining that how to practice yoga to connect to God and to be attached to Him and to know Him and how to know Him. Next slide. As you can see, this yogi who has got the Paramatma realization. Okay. I think so. Yes, yes. Someone can read this translation. Okay, I will. Geetika Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Out of how many thousands among men one may endure for perfection, and of these who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Hare Krishna.
Okay, yes. So what Lord Krishna is saying here, just like how there are so many athletes going for a marathon or a running competition, many of the athlete they give up because they become very, very tired. But only a very few go till the destination and only very few become the winners. So Srila Prabhupada says in one of the purports that it's so difficult to find the devotee of Krishna. I will say you how. Of 84 lakh species we know, that 4 lakh are human species, and out of which many are uncivilized. Out of the civilized humans, there are many who know. There are very few who know about Vedas. and out of very few who know about the Vedas, there are a few who are attached to who are still on the Karma Yoga platform, or you can say they are karmis. And out of that, there are very few out of the karmis. There are some who are in the Jnani Yoga platform, or they are Jnanis. And out of the Jnanis, there are very few who are mukta, means liberated people. And out of many of those muktas or liberated people, it is very difficult to find one devotee of Lord Krishna. Now you see how much of species of life to how difficult is to find the devotee of Lord Krishna. So you are fortunate that you have got the association of devotees so that you can become a devotee of Lord Krishna. So it's very rare to know Krishna. That's why Lord Krishna said, hardly one knows me in truth. Very few people. Next slide, please. Okay. So these are the process in our spiritual life. First, we have to be inquisitive in spiritual science. Inquisitive means you have to be curious. You can ask more and more questions. You have to have questions. Then only after you have so many questions, real questions about spiritual science, you can approach a guru. Just like how it's said in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse 34, how to approach a guru. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshayanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. We have also did this in the previous slides. So first we have to approach a guru and we have to ask him questions humbly, submissively. You should not go challenge the guru that, do you know this answer? Not like that. You have to ask very humbly, in a humble mood, and then you have to, after he is imparting the knowledge, you have to serve him, and then he will give you right knowledge, because he has got the right knowledge. And after approaching the right guru, you have to follow the 4 regulative principles. They are no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex. Means you should not eat meat, you should not do gambling, you should not do intoxication, means any kinds of drugs you should not take. Then you should not do any illicit sex. Okay, next slide. Yes, I will say the shloka. Bhumi apo analo vayu khammano buddhirevate ahankara iti yamme bhinna prakriti ashada. Someone can read the translation.
Janvi?
Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 comprise my separated material energies. Hare Krishna. Okay, so many people were asking what are the 5 elements from which the body is made of. And today one Mataji also asked about ether. So now you get the answer today. So these 5 elements are there for 5 elements which are there for through which our external body is created, which is earth, water, fire, air, ether. You can say, see, earth means bhumi means earth, apo means water, analo means fire, vayu means air, and kham means ether. So now earth, then water, then fire, air, ether is like the clear sky, like you can say you can say space as an example of ether. Yes, something
a clear sky, which is like beyond the clouds. You can say space also for that. And then our internal body is created of these three elements, which is mind, which is our mind. Then it is our intelligence, and then we have false ego. False ego means I and me. I am this body. I have done this thing. I have done that thing. That is also one of the elements which we have. So false ego, we have false ego. We don't have real ego. Real ego means I am the servant of Lord Krishna. I am the part and parcel of Lord Krishna. My duty is to serve Lord Krishna. Jivera Swarupa hoy Krishnera Nityadas means that your identity is to be a servant of Lord Krishna. That is called real ego. And that real ego is shown by Prahlad Maharaj. And so these are the 8 elements of Lord. These are the 8 which comprise the Lord's energies. These 8 elements also, 8 elements also form our body and our internal organ, internal body, internal body also. So next slide. Someone can read the translation.
Here, Tanki.
All that is material and all that is spiritual in the world. No for certain that I am both its origin and dissolution.
Yes. So Lord Krishna says here, I am the origin of everything, and I am also the reason why it is destroyed. The destruction of universe. Next slide, please. I will explain more in next slide. Mataji, there was a slide in between, I think. Mataji, if you go to next slide, is there any? I think so. There is one slide in between. Oh, okay, no problem. I'll explain in the earlier slide only. Put the earlier slide. So Lord Krishna says here that He is the origin of everything, and He is the cause of dissolution. So this is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita and in Brahma Samhita. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhu, I am the origin of everything. He said this also in the 15th chapter. Aham Sarvasya Prabhu means I am the origin of everything, and no truth is superior to me. And he also, and in Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma offered beautiful prayers to him, that in the first shloka he says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So Sarva Karana Karanam means causes of all causes. Means he is the reason behind all the reasons. So means he is the origin of everything. So in this picture, what they are shown, that Lord Mahavishnu, whenever he breathes out, there are some pores coming out from his body, and each pores form a universe. So there are millions of universe, as you can see in each of the pores coming out of Lord Mahavishnu. And when he inhales, all the universes come inside his body. Just like how when you inhale, air comes inside your body, and when you exhale, air comes out of your body, like that. So when Lord Mahavishnu exhales, all the universes come out. When Lord Mahavishnu inhales, all the universes come in. Next slide. Yes, O conqueror, someone can read this slide, I think.
Avantika.
O conqueror of wealth, Arjuna, there is no truth superior to me. Everything rests upon me as pearls are stung on a thread. Hare Krishna.
Yes, so Lord Krishna here is saying that that there is no truth superior to me, because the object of all knowledge is to know Krishna. He says that he says that the Vedas are known to know me, are created to know me. Vedascha sarve ahameva vedyo, meaning that I am the creator of Vedas, and Vedas are created to know me. So that's why the Lord Krishna says there is no truth superior to me, and everyone rests, means everyone depends on Lord Krishna, just like how poles are strung on a thread, like as you can see in this picture. Next slide. Oh yeah, this slide I was talking about. Okay, maybe. Okay, yes. So Krishna is God and he is a person. He is a person. He is not some light form or something. As I told you, Bhagwan is the personal form of the Lord, and there is nobody superior to him. I even explained the before references from Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Samhita. Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the causes of all causes. And Bhagavad Gita also says, Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, means I am the origin of everything. Next slide. Oh, someone can read this slide.
Prathamesh.
Hare Krishna, O son of Kunti, Arjuna, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the seeable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in either and ability in man.
Okay. So Lord Krishna says that what he represents in what. So in taste, he represents the taste of water. He represents the light of sun and moon. This can be confirmed in Bhagavad, because Lord Krishna's the eyes of the Lord Krishna's the eye of Lord Krishna is the sun. That's why it's called Ravi Lochana, means the light, means in the universal form, which you will be learning in the 11th chapter in detail. That time his eyes are the sun and the moon. So he represents the light of the sun and the moon, and he is the syllable Om in Vedic mantras. So whenever they say Om, right? Om. Many people say Om. They do Omkara and all. So Lord Krishna represents that in Vedic mantras, and he represents the sound in ether and ability in man. So that's what Lord Krishna represents. So whenever you say Om, that time, so these are the ways which you can remember Lord Krishna. When you drink water, you get the taste. You can remember Lord Krishna, that he represents this. Whenever you see when you wake up in morning, you see the light of the sun. You can remember Lord Krishna, because he represents it. Then whenever you are chanting some mantra or something where you say Om, that time you can remember Lord Krishna, because he represents this. And whenever you feel that you have got some ability, you can remember Lord Krishna, that it's Lord Krishna represents that ability in me. Next slide. Yes, it's the same thing, I think so. There. Next slide. Yes, someone can read the translation.
Smitha Manoj.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I am the original fragrance of the earth and I am the
Mataji, your voice is coming like it's breaking. I think we can give chance to someone else. Sorry.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Anushri.
Shri Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
I am the original fragrance of the earth and I am the heat in fire. I am the life of all that lives and I am the pregnance of all existence.
So Lord Krishna also says here what he represents. So he represents the fragrance of earth. Sometimes the earth, Then he represents the heat in the fire, the amount of heat coming from the fire. Means whenever, And then he represents the life in all the lives, and he represents the penance in of all the sages. So whenever you light lamp to God, you can remember Lord, because he is the heat in the fire. Whenever, for example, if you remember that you are having a beautiful life, you can thank Lord Krishna for it, because he represents the life in you. Then you, whenever you, and then he represents the austerities or the tapasya which the sages do. Next slide. So this is a table explaining of what among who he represents. In taste he represents water. In light he represents moon. In Vedic among Vedic mantras he represents the sound Om. Among ether in the sound in ether he represents sound. In earth he represents the fragrance, and in fire he represents the heat coming from the fire. See, in these ways you can even remember Lord Krishna whenever you see something related to this. Next slide. Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mahameva Ye Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. Someone can read the translation.
Spandan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. This divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes. So what Lord Krishna is saying, for this let's take a symbolism. So there is a war. There is a whole ocean of miseries which we have when we are in this world. That's why this world is called Dukkhalaya Ashaswatam by Lord Krishna. Means that it is full of miseries. So in that ocean of miseries, for those who are not devoted to Lord Krishna, they will keep on being in this ocean of miseries. But for the devotees, whenever they try to cross this ocean, for them the first step they put, all the ocean will be absorbed like all the water will be absorbed in a size of like a calf's hoof print, so that then he can easily cross over the ocean of miseries and go to the spiritual kingdom. And you can even see here there is a devotee who is there in this ocean of miseries, and Lord Krishna is coming there to save him, and Garuda is coming there saying, Hare Krishna. Welcome to the spiritual world. So Lord Krishna says here that it is difficult to overcome this ocean of miseries. But for those who are devotees, those who have surrendered unto Lord, for them it is very easy because Lord Krishna provides them with protection. Next slide. Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritinorjuna artho jignasurartharti jnani cha bharatarshava. Someone can read the translation.
The one in the name of iPhone. O best among the Bharatas, Arjuna, 4 kinds of pious men render devotional service unto me. The distrusted, the desire of wealth, the inquisitor, and he who is searching for knowledge of the absolute.
Yes. Artho means one who is in distress. Jignasur means one who is inquisitive, means one who is curious. Artharthi means one who is in need of money. And Jnani means who is searching for the knowledge of the absolute truth. So next slide, I will explain more in detail. So there are 4 kinds of people who surrender unto God. One is the distress, means those who are in pain. Then comes the people who are in search of money. They want money. Money means they can. You can also say king. You can also say some kind of opulence or something they want. Then third type of people are those who are curious to know about what is going on. And the 4th type of people are Jnani. They know that we should surrender unto Lord Krishna. That is the ultimate goal of life. That's why they are intelligent. They know why to surrender unto Lord Krishna. And therefore they are in the knowledge of absolute truth. Okay. So these are some of the examples from Srimad Bhagavatam. So there was one elephant named there was one elephant. He was bited by a crocodile, and he was in so much of pain, but then he surrendered unto Lord Krishna. And then when Lord Krishna came to save him, he offered he plucked a lotus flower from a tree and he offered it to God. And after which Lord Krishna came as Garuda and then he saved him. So that elephant's name was Gajendra Moksha, and after the touch of Lord, he came to a body, and then the crocodile also came in a body of he also got his previous body, and both of them, and after which that life Gajendra Moksha got place in spiritual world. Then there is Prahlad Maharaj. He is in the womb of his mother. And then Narad Muni is talking about Lord Krishna. So Gajendra Moksha is an example of distress. And then Maharaj Parikshit and Sukadev Goswami they do the narration of Srimad Bhagavatam, and Maharaj Parikshit wanted to know about the spiritual science. That's why he was inquisitive, means he was curious to know. So he comes under inquisitive. Then Dhruva Maharaj story will be telling today, but I'll just tell you briefly that he he was in a search of land. That's why he surrendered unto God, and then so he was example of desire of wealth. You can land means opulence only. So desire of wealth, and then there was Sugriva, who made a deal with Lord Rama because his brother Vali used to torture him so much, and that's why Lord Rama, Sugriva told Lord Rama to kill him. So Sugriva was in distress, and this is Suta Goswami reciting Srimad Bhagavatam to the rishis at Naimicharanya. Means the rishis were inquires. They were also curious to know Srimad Bhagavatam, and they were and they wanted to know Srimad Bhagavatam. So they come under Jnani. Next slide. So as I told you, now I'm going to tell you about Prahlad Maharaj story. So once what happened, there was a king, Uttanapada. He had two wives, Suniti and Surichi. So Suniti's mother, Suniti's son was Dhruva Maharaj. He was and then Surichi also got one son who was the step brother of Dhruva Maharaj. So what happened? The king was more attracted to Surichi, and he was not attracted to Suniti. So he was, and Suniti was not considered too much important in their family. So what happened once, that time Surichi's brother son was sitting on the lap, and then on the lap of the king, and that time Dhruva Maharaj attempted to go on the lap of his father. So for example, if your brother or your sister or any sibling is there on the lap of your father, then won't you feel also to go in the lap of father and you get the same kind of love? So that time, so just like that, even Dhruva Maharaj attempted to do that, but Surichi, she became too much of she discriminated between Dhruva Maharaj, his step son, and his own son. So what he said, so he moved him away from the lap of the king, and he said that you are not deservable to sit on the lap of the king, because although you are the son of the king, but you are not born of my womb. You are born of the Suniti's womb. So you pray to Lord that next life you be born in the womb of me, and then only you will get to sit on the lap of the king. So Dhruva Maharaj became very, very angry. Next slide. So then he went to his mother Suniti. That time Suniti told that she is right. You go to worship the Lord. You go to worship the Lord, and Lord is very kind to his devotees. So whatever you ask, the Lord will provide you. So then he was searching for Lord. That time he met Narad Muni. So Narad Muni, he is like, where are you going? He thought that where is this small boy going? he was like, can you tell it? As you are a great devotee of Lord, can you tell me where is God? So he's like, you are. This is not the age to do. This is not the age to find Lord in the forest and all. There is no need to do all these things. Mataji, can you go to the previous slide? Okay, I'm just saying the discussion. So he's like, now it's the age just to be attached to sports and just start playing. When you grow big, by mercy of Lord, you will get a chance to search God, but not now. So then Narad Muni kept on advising, but then Dhruva Maharaj replied that he was very, very angry that time. He was like, no, I want to see God and I want to ask him, I want to fulfill my desire. And then this Narad Muni is like, these Satriyas are too much attached to their prestige. They are a little insult means they are very firm in their determination. So what Narad Muni did, he told in his ears the mantra for means that time for Satyuga the mantra was Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So he told that mantra in his ears, and he told that you keep on chanting and meditating under a tree, and you after by constant meditation, once you will be able to get darshan of Lord. So then next slide, Mataji. So then he started performing severe austerity, or you can say penance, tapasya. So that time he was constantly engaged. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And then he ate very, very little. He just drank the water from the river, and then he ate some leaves which were there, and he was living so simple, and he was living in a very simple life. So slowly 6 months he constantly did penance, and then Lord became pleased by his austerity. Next slide. See, this is the picture. He doing austerity. He's doing severe austerity, completely absorbed. And then in the last 3 months or so, he was not eating anything. So Lord became pleased, and then he gave darshan to his devotee Prahlad Maharaj, and asked him for the wish. And that time Prahlad Maharaj became so angry, so happy by seeing the beautiful form of the Lord, and he said that I was searching for a broken piece of glass, and I have got a diamond. So now I don't need anything. So initially his desire was to get a land bigger than his great grandfather, Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma is considered to be the great grandfather of everyone, because he is the creator of everyone. So he wanted land which was greater than Lord Brahma, but then when he saw this beautiful form of Lord, and by constantly doing the meditation, he got the darshan of Lord, and then but then still Lord fulfilled his desire, and after his death he got a special planet called Dhruva Loka, which is the speciality of, you say now onwards they say the pole star. So that pole star is also considered Dhruva Lok in as confirmed in the Shastras. So that Dhruva Loka has a speciality that even though it is in in this world, it will never get destroyed. It has such a speciality. Next slide, Mataji. Okay, so someone can read the translation.
Rishika,
Does everyone like this story, right?
After many births and deaths, he who is actually in knowledge surrenders into me, knowing me to be the cause of all causes and all that is. Such a great soul, very rare.
Okay, so Lord Krishna is explaining that such a great soul is very, very rare to find, that who knows who knows me as the causes of all causes, Sarva Karana Karanam. So means after many births, many births and deaths, people get the knowledge of realizing that you have to surrender unto Lord Krishna, and then he surrenders unto Lord Krishna, knowing him as the supreme Lord and the creator of everyone. And such a soul and such a person is very, very rare to find. I told you, no, beginning, that out of so many people, it is very difficult to find one devotee of Lord Krishna. Next slide. O Arjuna, as the supreme personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all that is things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me, no one knows. So Lord Krishna says here that he knows everything. As Paramatma, he knows everything. He knows what happened in the past. We even saw in the 4th chapter that he could remember something that happened 120 million of years ago, that he said Bhagavad Gita to Vivaswan, the sun god. See, he knows everything that happened in past. He knows everything that is happening in present, and he knows everything that is happening in the future. He knows everything, and he knows even all the living entities, because he is there in the form of as Paramatma, but very, very rarely people know. But me, no one knows. Very, very rare people know him. As I also explained it, that after many people, it is so difficult to find a devotee of Lord Krishna. Okay, so next slide. Okay, these are some of the questions. I think so, Mataji, it's almost time up, so I will only answer this. Who is God? God is you can say, simple definition of God. God is the creator of everything. Is God a person? Yes. Lord Krishna is a person. He is Bhagwan. And Bhagwan means God. Who are we? We are the soul. What are the 3 reasons why Krishna appeared? The 3 reasons why Krishna appeared is that he came to protect his devotees, destroy the demons, and to re-establish the principles of Dharma. What is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad means God, and Gita means the song. So Bhagavad Gita means the song of God. Why do we study Bhagavad Gita? Because Bhagavad Gita is a manual of life, and through which we get so much of important knowledge. Next slide. What are the 5 reasons why what Arjuna told in the 1st chapter not to fight? The 5 reasons Arjuna told in the 1st chapter not to fight are compassion, no sin, no enjoyment, family traditions, and indecision. What is yoga? Yoga is connection to God. Which are the 4 yugas? 4 yugas are Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. All you can note down also if you want to know all the answers which I am saying right now, because this is the revision of all these 6 chapters. Which yuga we are living now? We are living in Kali Yuga. What is the dharma in Kali Yuga? The dharma in Kali Yuga is to chant the holy name of Lord. Next slide. What is the peace formula? The peace formula is to know that Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, Krishna is the supreme controller, and he is the only well-wishing friend. What is Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. These are the 16 words in Hare Krishna Mahamantra. What is the Panchatattva Mahamantra? Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Why should we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Because it's our prescribed duty to chant, and it has so many benefits, as we even discussed in yesterday's chapter. What does the word Krishna mean? Akarshana iti Krishna means Krishna is the attractor of every living entity. So Krishna means attractor. Next slide. So everyone chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna all. I think today we should go for the video first and then for the polls. As one of the questions in the poll is from the video, so you all have to be attentive when you are watching the video. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji, can you please stop the recording?
Yes, just a minute. My computer, yes.